A lot of Nigerians have not collected their PVC. So it's very necessary. It is very necessary that INEC should extend the collection of PVC even till a month before the election. It should be on a daily basis.
The challenges I'm facing in collecting PVC is that when you go to collect your PVC, there are many queues, and the numbers of staff that attend to people are too few. So people are numerous, and it makes you to spend a lot of time in the queue. Sometimes one can even go there in the morning. Before it reach your times, you spend about 4 or 5 hours before it reach your own times. I'm appealing to the federal government if they can extend it a bit, so that among those people that have not collected, I'm not registered yet, they'll be able to get their own PVC and register.
It's not even extending a professional matter. It's the war, it's the duty. Even extend for 1 year, and the same people that are frustrating the system, they are still around, it will not work. So to me, some people are using that as an excuse to extend it. But for the sake of others, they can still even extend it.
I think it needed to be extended so that for those who are unable to collect, will be able to collect their own, so that they will not be disfranchised during the election process.
Absolutely. I think I'm in support of that, because it took me pretty time to acquire the PVC.
Yes, in order not to de-enfranchise people, they shouldn't, because there are so many things that disturb people these days. So by extension, people, after finishing whatever engagement you have, you'll be able to do it. It's better less than extend it. No matter how, even if it's going to reach end of this year, it's better, so that they know they have done the necessary things they're supposed to do.
Well, if they check their data and see that the people who have registered have not actually gotten their PVC, I think there's every need to make some adjustment on the time so that people will be able to get their PVCs.
The issue of PVC, I'm really angry, because I don't know if extending is the cure, because most places I've gone to get my PVCs, they are asking for money. Some places they'll tell you pay 500, 200 for fuel, for all sorts of it. So it's not about extending, it's about looking at the cure to the solution, to the problem. Because the problem is some of INEC officials that are registering are not serious. They just want to make money off it. So it's not just about extending, it's about providing solution to the issue.
To me, actually, the use of the PVC, I will not say they should extend, but they should try to look into the mechanism so that it will be easier for people to access the PVC. Because if you look at many units where they are getting that PVC, the crowd there is very, very much. And somewhere if you go, they will tell you, come and pay a certain amount of money to get fuel before you can do it. If INEC can look into all these instances and make it easier for people to get the PVC, it will have better than say we want to extend. Because by extending the PVC connection, and the problem is still persists of crowding and buying fuel, all those things, it's not easy to access, then we are not doing good.
Welcome back to the Political Desk. Joining us right now is Mr. O.J. Onyeluka, who is an advocate of PVC is a Goal. He's also a development consultant. To his left is Ms. Prince Solomon Adedeji Shoyebi, who is the national chairman and Commissioner, Information and Voters Education, INEC. Gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us on today's program.
Good morning.
So the INEC officially closed its books for registration of the permanent voters card yesterday, August 31st. So a lot of Nigerians have come out to say it's not enough time for them to register. The Electoral Act gives provision for you to register till 3 months before the election. So can you tell me why the INEC has closed it at the end of August?
Well, I don't know which act you're talking about. There is no act which says we should register till 3 months to the election.
It gives provision for you to register up to 3 months to the election.
Registration does not, and then let me correct the impression again too. We did not close, we suspended. This activity, this voter registration had been on for the past 16 months. And for the first time in the history of the country, this is the first time we will truly embark on what we call continuous voters registration. A lot of Nigerians left it to the last minute, which is just usual or normal in our society. But when we say that a lot of Nigerians have not been captured, I find it very, very difficult because the statistics don't really say that. We have over 40 million Nigerians on board now on continuous voter registration alone. We had a register which had 70 million Nigerians on the register. And here, within the past 60 months, we've captured slightly over 40 million again, which makes it about 84 million Nigerians on the register. Well, whether we like it or not, there has to be a cut-off point. The register does not start with the registration. In fact, the registration is just the beginning point. There are still a lot of steps to be taken on the register. We still have to have what we call a deduplication, that is checking the register whether we have multiple registrants. We still have to display for checks and objections. We still have to print these cards, 14 million cards to be printed. And of course, we still have to sign this register before it can be used for election. We need this particular window. We need at least, we will envisage about 180 days for all this back-end solution. So there has to be a suspension time. We suspended about 2 weeks ago, but people really advocated and we give them 14 days.
Are you saying there is still going to be time for people to collect their PVCs?
Everybody that was registered will collect his PVC. We are going to print 14. We need time for all these activities. We still have to even deduplicate, check whether you are a multiple registrant. If you are, we have to take you up that register. And of course, as from Tuesday, we are going to have what we have claims and objections. We are going to display these registers. People will come around and then make objections. There are objections if there are anything, maybe your name is wrongly spelled, or you have anything on the register, you let us know. But more importantly is the back-end solutions. We have a lot of things to do with that registrants that we have. We have to cross-check them before we now send them to the printers. You can be sure that for a printer to print 40 million cards, it needs time. Apart from that, we have to integrate this with the old register, 70 billion to have an aggregate of 84. This is what you are going to sign for the election. But even more importantly, you will see that on the 17th of August, we rolled out the process for the 2019 election. We gave the notice for election on the 17th. People look at voting as election. The election has started. We have switched to election mode. In the next few weeks, the parties will have their primaries. 46 parties have notified us of their intentions of conducting primaries as of yesterday, out of the 91 that we registered. So you will say that the election is on.
I want to make this crystal clear. When you say the process has been suspended, as of today, Nigerians who are watching who have not registered to vote have no chance of participating in the 2019 elections. Is this correct?
Well, I can assure you that there's nothing which compels everybody to register. It's voluntary.
No, my question to you...
I will answer you that question. We gave opportunity to every Nigerian to register by making sure that we have a 16-month window. 16-month window, not just one day. From April 2017, 27 to 17, up till yesterday, was the large window which you gave for people to register.
Okay, so the answer is yes. Those who haven't registered today cannot register again.
That is the law.
Okay, so OJ, are you satisfied with what INEC has done so far? Your campaign, PVC is a goal. What have you been able to achieve? How many people were you able to get to go out and register for the PVC? And are you satisfied with INEC's advocacy for people to also get their PVC and their way of conducting and allowing people to register? Because we had feedback from Nigerians, the Vox Pop before this, which showed that some people found it difficult to get their PVCs. They had to stand in line for hours. Some people even had to fake pregnancy just so they can jump the queue to register. So can you give us some feedback of what your group has been able to achieve thus far?
The first thing I want to establish is that I'm not very satisfied with what INEC has done as far as PVC registration is concerned. There's a cutoff mark stipulated by the Electoral Act, and I'll read Section 9, subsection 5. It says, the registration of voters, updating and revision of the voters register under this section shall stop not later than 60 days before any election covered by this act. So stopping the election or suspending the election without the registration, without actually telling us when you're going to commence again, is actually in bad taste. Now that you've given Nigerians opportunity to register for 16 months, is not enough excuse, so to say. And it's not an opportunity, it's our civic right to go and get our voters card and to vote. It's our civic right. However, we notice that there's a lot of voters apathy, maybe stemming from the fact that a lot of people don't actually believe that their votes count. But what we've been able to do this time around is organize concerts in some voting centers and get people to say, come and register, make the place enticing enough for them to come and register. Let me tell you a personal example and a personal experience. When I went to register, I registered the last time, but I moved places. So I wanted to get to a place that's closer to me. They said I have to go there and then show my old voter's registration card and then re-register so that I can. So I did that. And I continuously did that for 3 days. And they would give numbers, and when the time for them to register would elapse before it gets to my number. So I got there at about 3:30 in the morning, and I was number 4. Imagine getting there at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, and you're number 4. So I managed to do it. But there were a lot of, I didn't get out of there till 11 a.m. Why? It started raining. They wanted to move into schools, into classrooms to go and register. The principal did not allow them because they didn't pre-inform them. And I asked, why is there no canopy here? And they said there was a canopy, and then INEC moved it to somewhere else where they felt there'll be more people. That's disenfranchising people. I even have a problem with cutting it off 60 days before then. It means those that turn 18, 60 days before the election cannot vote. But is there no way we can actually do it so that as you are ready, you can do it online, make it a bit more easy and enticing to the people?
But as of today, do you understand the plight of INEC? That the fact that they have to, as he said, cross-check the list, cross-check the database, print, and all the other logistics that follows registration. They need ample time to ensure that they can provide those people who are registered beforehand.
And bank card, which one is more important to the individual? If the banks can do it on the go, why can't we do it on the go? You do it, you get a temporary one, and then you use it. As in, I'm still trying to understand the complexity, how complicated it is.
It's not complicated at all. Honestly, I'm very, very intrigued by some of the things you said. Number one, you quoted the Electoral Act, and you selectively talked about registration. You omitted the compilation. And of course, the signing. It takes time. All this takes time. Then you even mentioned something like you went as a multiple registrant. We have cases like this. But one thing which I know is that most people have left it. They did leave it to the last minute. We are masters of leaving things to the last minute here. I want to assure you, the first election is February 16th. Yeah. If we extend this registration till the 15th of February, we still have people who would leave it to that time.
But Mr. Ojo,
I agree with you, but let's just ask.
He raised a particular point.
I will talk about this registration, which you talked about the cards.
So it's young people who turn 18 3 months to the elections. What happens to them?
Whether you like it or not, there has to be a cut-off point. Just like this, let me use this.
But they are citizens, they have rights.
There are laws, there are guidelines. If you don't really meet some of these laws and some of these guidelines at a particular point in time, you really have to wait for another opportunity. That is number one. Number two, let me tell you this. We are going to have an election in Osun in about 21 or 22 days' time. The political parties that we just registered, about the 23 of them that we registered, cannot partake. Because definitely, by the time when we asked for nomination for Osun, these parties had not been registered. There are times, there are frameworks for some of these things. People turn 18 every day. Honestly, people will turn 18 on that day, on the 16th. By fundamental right, he's turned 18, and the law will say he has the right to vote. But definitely the guidelines have not been met because there are some things you must do. That is important. There are cut-off points. I'm talking about this suspension. The Electoral Act, the law prescribes what we call continuous voters registration in the true sense. But there must be time for us to stop.
I wonder, Commissioner, how ready is INEC to actually conduct these elections? You guys are still going back and forth between the National Assembly about the budget. You had proposed, I believe, a little over 180-something million.
We got
143 million now. You know, we're still debating the budget issues.
And you're still printing cards at this point.
Exactly.
Yes.
Are we expecting a postponement of the elections in any sense as of today?
We don't anticipate it in any form. As I told you, election is a chain of events. It has started. And they have timelines. There's a specific time to which notice of election must be given. We have given that notice. The parties are going to have their primaries within a particular time. It's a chain of events. Now, when you talk about this budget, we are aware of the bottlenecks that this could cause, and we have been very, very proactive, at least when it comes to things like procurement. We have processed most of the things we have to do. All we have to just put in is just payment, which will come in at the tail end. That's number one. Then number two, I've heard so many times people will say that, oh, you proposed 180 something, you are given, we are not even talking about it because there's still debate going on. We don't know what the end product will be. But let us even assume we are given the 143 which they are proposing. The 45 billion component they are talking about are honorarium, people that will be paid after completion of work. The bulk of them are going to our corpus. Bulk of them are going to as honoraria, and then there are the payments that are just due either on election day or a week to election.
Yeah, talking about money and payments, what is INEC doing about vote buying? Your chairman was quoted during the week as saying that INEC can prosecute people who are found guilty of vote buying, but INEC cannot effect their arrest. How effective is that?
Well, I've said it, I'm sure it's even on this channel, the issue of vote buying and vote selling, because you can't have the buying without having the sale. Both of them, they go together, is something which is everybody's responsibility. We witnessed in a particular election where this issue took place well outside the polling booth. There was a foreign diplomat around with me who actually measured that distance and told me this is about 220 meters to your polling booth where this is taking place. How do we incorporate this as an electoral offense when it's not even committed within the premises of the election? But it is there. People will induce payment, people will induce voters with money. Very cheap stipends, 3,000, 4,000. But what we are trying to do now, we are going to take more of prevention than any other thing. We are going to reposition our polling booths in such a way that to expose the ballot paper becomes very difficult, number one. Then number two, the one the chairman gave, it was not even a warning. It was not even an advice, it was a warning. Anybody that we catch, we have our strategies for prosecution. If you let it out here, you know that these people are planning along with you. But we intend to make scapegoats or examples of anybody that is caught.
Yeah, but what is the essence of the heavy policing we see in every election cycle if you guys cannot proactively ensure that people who participate in vote buying and selling are actually proactively dealt with? Because you seem to, what you're telling us now is that if you catch. So we see heavy detachment of policemen, the military, for elections. Thousands of policemen are deployed to state. The Ekiti last election, thousands of policemen were deployed. So if these policemen cannot detect...
They were given specific duties of protection of men material.
So their job is just to protect.
Just hold on, please. It's just to protect to give a conducive atmosphere, protect the environment. But you will say that these people too, they find a way of not just they will tell you, some was even telling us that they were not breaking the law, they were only bending it. How do you explain somebody who goes about 400 meters away from the polling booth to give money to someone else? What offense has he committed? That's number one. Then number two, the policemen that are supposed to be guiding these young boys, your ballot papers and everything, you now ask him to go about 300 meters to go and catch. You see,
but it's as close as OJ, it's as close as 400 meters is not so far, but it's also far.
It's outside.
But we've seen cases.
By law, it's outside. It's outside the polling zone.
But Prince, we've seen cases where when you vote, you actually show your vote to whoever is somewhere around monitoring, and then you go by the corner of the booth and you get paid. OJ, I don't know. What do you think about this?
First of all, just a couple of days ago, our president walked 800 meters. 800 meters. So 400 meters is not, if you go by distance, is not far at all. However, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the issue. Vote buying and selling. In fact, the way the whole voting structure is being designed, some people say it's designed to intentionally have loopholes so that some elements of people can manipulate the results. You are guiding people and providing a peaceful atmosphere for voting, but in your presence, they are snatching ballot boxes, they are taking ballot boxes away, and you are not catching them. So I don't understand how you can prosecute, but you can't arrest. You have to arrest first before you prosecute. Am I...
Exactly.
So I want to know how INEC wants to prosecute without actually arresting. Who does the arresting?
Well, you know, I want to know from an advocacy standpoint, because as I said, your PVC is an advocacy group. What have you guys done to sensitize the voters? Because at the end of the day, INEC can only do, you know, what is within its purview. And I know the commissioner initially had said that, you know, what's happening, most of these vote buying doesn't happen within its environment. But the reality is that we know that there are officials of the INEC, officials of the police, who work in collaboration with these people who are buying and selling. There are cases like that we've seen in past elections. So I want to know, what advocacy has the PVC as a goal group been able to send out there? What messaging have they done to sensitize the voters that, look, selling your vote for 4,000 naira and, you know, for the next 4 years doesn't make any sense.
1,000 per year.
Exactly.
Well, just as you said, that INEC has done what is within its purview, we have also done what we can do, and we are still doing it, which is sensitize the people, educate them, let them know that you have 4 years ahead of you. You have to ask questions, not just cast a vote for somebody that you don't know anything about, that you cannot challenge for 4,000 naira.
But you know, I interviewed a market man, Mr. Chido, and I said to him, how do we go about reducing vote buying? And he said, Auntie, na person where get conscience, na person where get food for stomach go get conscience, and na person where get conscience go say, no, I know they accept money for vote. So how do we eradicate that poverty mentality? Because someone who hasn't seen 4,000 in 4 years is definitely going to collect 4,000 to vote for whoever is giving it to him or her.
It's something we all have to do collectively. INEC, the citizens, everybody. And I'll give you another example. Where we vote, just as Oyemai said, that when you vote, you show that you voted, and then people know that yes, you voted, and you go and collect your money. What if you make where they are going to vote very exclusive, such that it's just that person alone that can get there?
It's against open ballot system. There are laws.
How about we change the
laws? The law, that is very... in fact, I
was coming there.
The laws must be changed. There are some things which we do according to law. Votes must be cast in the open space. It's a law. You go inside the cubicle, which is secret ballot, but the votes must be cast in an open space. That is the law. The laws, we do everything according to law, guiding elections. And when we talked about this issue of the voting environment, Even there's one thing we call the polling zone, and then there's an arena. It's defined by law. Within that area, there are some things you cannot do. Once you get outside that area, you are not within the polling arena again. That is outside. Most of these things are defined by law. I want to thank him because he said that we must prevent it. Yes. Number one, all of us must agree with ourselves that these things exist. We should not give it any kid's glove at all. Yep. We were able the commission was the first to start this alert after Edo. When we saw it, we did not keep quiet about it. We shouted that this is the new way. It's an indicator that at least these votes have value now, because if you can buy something, it means it has value. They are beginning to count. Gone are the days where you hear people starting ballot papers, starting ballot boxes.
Gone are the days?
Gone are the days.
I'm still telling you.
It still happened. In fact, they killed somebody.
Wait. You put it in perspective. Wherever you steal a ballot, or you will discover that INEC will go back there and conduct that election. That's one thing. In places where they have snatched ballots, we will never count that. We'll never take that ballot as a result. We will go back and make sure that at least people really look at
INEC has just implemented this electronic transmission of results. Can you speak to us about how that works?
Well, it's a pilot scheme, and what we are trying to do, we've done it in about 4 different elections. It's a pilot scheme whereby once you have the votes cast at a particular polling booth, it's sorted out, it's counted. What we now do is that we scan that result with the smart card reader, and it's received in a central server, and we house it there, and we now use it as a pilot to compare what actually comes in as paper trail. The law as of today is the Form EC8. We are just being proactive. We cannot use that to declare a result. We are just using it. As of today, it is the Form EC. It's a paper that we use. But what we do now is just to strengthen the figure. We used it extensively in Ekiti, and that was very, very happy in Ekiti. In Sokoto and in Anambra, where it happened. The results are tremendous. But since it's a pilot scheme, a pilot is something like an experimental issue which has no backing of the law as of now. We don't really want to. But by the time we have the backing of the law, we will come out openly, tell the whole world, this is what it's all about.
So as of today, you're still going to be reliant on those ballot papers rather than the electronic transmission.
What is INEC doing about underage voting, like we saw in Kano in the last election?
This question is...
How did they get their PVCs in the first place?
In fact, this is the 3rd time I will answer this question, probably this station or elsewhere. We did, and I'll be very blunt here, that particular video you saw, that wasn't the first time that video will come out. It came out in 2014, or 2015. It was in Taraba then. The same video came out, and we are now saying it's Kano. Now, we are not even interested in the video. We are talking about underage voting. We went in there. On Tuesday, we are going to have claims and objections coming up for 5 days. Everybody has a responsibility now. In your polling booth, if you discover there's an underage voter here, let us know, we'll remove him. It's so difficult. We have not only removed some underage voters.
People have also alleged that they've been threatened to be quiet.
Yep.
Not everybody.
Which also questions the security
I'm even telling you,
we
have removed some. The immigration officials have helped us. We have removed aliens in that register. We have actually removed aliens. We have removed underage where we see them. But more importantly, if you are we are going to be very honest, we've seen places where people even remove some people online. That look, you are underage. This particular issue we call election is everybody's responsibility. We all have a stake to play here. It is not just the issue left to INEC alone.
Commissioner Ojay, thank you so much for joining us on today's program. I would love to give you the last word, but we're so far out of time. So we'll take a break right now, and when we return, we'll bring you trending issues with Ohimai and Ina Peters on politics, entertainment, and what have you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on The Weekend Show.